Welcome back to Reality Court. I'm Ace Fanning. And you can kind of think of me as like your lazy pro bono wannabe attorney who has been disbarred for multiple HR complaints by my constituents, and host of the Sister Wives podcast, Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided. And today I am joined by your honor. She's hot. She's opinionated. She's Latina. She's Anna Quincoces, former Real Housewife of Miami, whose recently lack of tech-savvy know-how has landed her on the other end of an online scam that only your abuela would fall for, because that's who this woman is. And it has been a beautiful sight to see.
Really? You're mocking the fact that I was extorted of money. First of all, it wasn't me. It was poor Ken. And I came out like a crazy person defending him because I hate when that happens.
Right.
And yes, I am not tech savvy because I'm old. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm waiting for my great-great-grandchildren to help me.
Okay. And today we are joined by our very own Housewives Council, representing the beautiful state of New Jersey. They hate her. They love her, but either way, they're always talking about her. She loves herself a nice pair of tits, just not on her man. And you never have to think about how she's feeling about you because she's not afraid to tell you. Please welcome to the Reality Courtroom, Jennifer Aydin.
Not all at once, people. Not all at once. Yes,
how are you?
I'm doing great. I've had my coffee. I'm ready to go. Ace.
You have bangs also? I mean, that's a huge thing.
This is a new look we are rocking.
I like it.
Bangs.
It works.
Question is, you know what I've noticed? You know, when I leave my hair down, I'm trying to get this so I'm centered.
You're
there you
centered.
go.
There you go.
I sometimes when I leave my hair down, I feel like it, especially on like the first day, it's a little soft. It's too flat. And I feel like the bangs is just like a nice balance with it straight and flat. And actually, then I stop playing with my hair. So it's actually practical in addition to being aesthetically pleasing.
I love it.
These things.
And I
don't know what they are, but they make your hair. You put them up
like
here?
a volumizer thing?
It's like a bump it?
No,
Amazon.
it's like it gives you like a little boost volume. Sometimes I put the hair pumping powder and I tease.
It's a modern day bump it is what it is.
Yeah.
But,
It's
a bump it.
I love bump it. I used to
How do you even remember, Ace?
I know it all. Jen, you look snatched. Have you done something? I mean, you look fucking gorgeous right now.
Oh my God, Ace, go on.
She does, but you're such a
Thank you. No, I think my nose settled in real nice.
Oh,
it
beautiful.
still has a little bit of a slope when I smile, but you know what? We ain't going to complain. You know what? It is what it is. I did not have a second nose job, as people think.
Isn't the slope what people want, though?
Not if it's like a deep slope. If it's on the side and it's a deep slope, you kind of got like a protruding out tip. It's no bueno. And that's kind of like what I looked like when I first came on the scene, because when I first started filming, it was literally 3 weeks after my nose job, 3 to 4 weeks after my nose job. So it was swollen, it was bad, it was not good. And but you know what? I took it like a champ. I'm a wife of a plastic surgeon. I know these things take time to heal. And I figured if anything, worst comes to worst, we could just talk about it in the new season. I had no idea that Margaret was going to ambush me with some deep, dark secret and like ruin my whole path. But that was the goal initially. That was the goal. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I got a nose job. Okay, don't look so good now. But maybe we'll wait till the end of the season and see if it settles in. So
I can't imagine going onto a show and being like, okay, my secret is going to be the nose job, but hopefully it'll come out. And then here comes fucking Margaret Josephs, and she's like, actually, I'm going to really fuck up your life.
Yeah.
And I think you handled it really well, because you know what? You haven't succumbed to the curse of the housewife. You know, everybody getting divorced, relationships being doomed. You addressed it. You dealt with it. It happens to not everyone, but a huge majority of people, and they don't talk about it and they hide it. And so I think that many women who have been in your position really probably appreciate the way you handled it and how transparent you were about the whole thing.
Honestly,
right. I did always tell myself if it came out, I would not shy away or run away from it, because it's not who I am, and I feel there's power in my story. And it was what I felt a lifetime ago. It's something that happened before I was on the show, before anything. So there was no need for me to ever bring it up on the show. The only reason that I even owned it is because Ace, you know, if you guys are fans of the show and you remember, the year before, we had just had a season where Teresa brought a rumor to the table with no proof, and she got basically ambushed for it. Yeah. And I know Margaret, it's one thing she is, that girl, she a dirty player, but she a smart dirty player, okay? She is not going to bring another season of another rumor with no proof. So when she kept saying, like, you have secrets, you have skeletons, you have skeletons, you have skeletons, and I was like, everyone's got skeletons. But what do you do when someone tells you you got skeletons, right? You think about the skeletons. And the very big one that I had was that. So after a while, she was like, you're a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite. And part of me knew, I'm like, okay, I wonder if she like found out, because I knew she was friends with some of the practice's partners from back then. And then she ambushed me with it. And, you know, I just corrected her because it was not a manager. It was a pharmaceutical rep. Yes.
And of course it was a pharmaceutical
always
rep.
The pharmaceutical.
Oh, God.
Dude, have you guys watched like Ben Stiller's Beat the Fockers movies?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
No, yeah. I've seen them in real life. I've seen them.
So it's text.
But you know what? Now it's done. It's already out there.
It's all done.
You know? So you stole their thunder, and that's it.
Speaking of housewives divorces, I have to start with my favorite story. And I feel so bad saying it's my favorite story, but like, you know, this is the housewives curse. Teddi Mellencamp has filed for divorce. And honestly, the fact that she put out the statement, I was kind of like, who cares? But I just want to speculate for a minute with the two of you. What do we think is going on here? Now, I know that before she started her first season on Beverly Hills, she said that they were kind of in a really bad spot. She was thinking about divorce, and then they stayed together. But here we are again, and I'm like, is this cheating? What is this? What do you guys think?
Anna? Oh, okay. So I will say that, first of all, Ace, just sidebar, don't feel bad talking about it, honey. She's got a podcast where she talks about when people even take a pee. So don't feel bad. Okay? But what I will say is marriage is very, very hard. And when you're in the public eye and everybody's watching, just people love to be haters, especially when it comes to housewives. It's like, I almost feel like the hater trolls out there get joy when they see that housewives are getting a divorce. And I absolutely hate that. I hate that, you know, every relationship goes through ups and downs, and you stay for whatever reason. And like, people even ask me, how could I stay with someone I didn't trust? I want to clarify that Bill is not someone I don't trust, okay? He is a man who cheated. He's not a cheater. There's a difference. So I don't know. I didn't hear anything about speculation of cheating. Nothing like that is out there. Sometimes in relationships, couples either grow together or they grow apart. And being in the public and having scrutiny when, like, we don't know. Like, people want to sit here and talk about, like, oh, you know, I'm miserable in my marriage, or I cry alone at night. Dude, you want to know when the last time I cried? When I was filming this season where they ambushed my husband. Why? Because my kids were going to find out something that I worked so hard to keep secret. Right. Like, when I say I worked so hard to keep secret, I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell my sister. I didn't want to diminish the aura of what Bill was in their eyes. And I was going to forgive him anyway, so I thought it was a moot point. But like, even now, like, God, let's say, God forbid, something happened between Bill and I. They're all going to speculate, like, oh, it's because he was cheating on her. He couldn't stand her. Cheaper to keep her. Cheaper to keep her. Are you Last I checked, I'm a MILF, honey. And I'm the mother of his 5 children. Okay? Like, if he don't want this, honey.
He wants that.
Wow, you look amazing.
Jesus.
She's fully, and for people who aren't watching, she is giving us a full rundown of her body.
Yeah, really, go to the YouTube. It's worth it.
You know, and if he were to divorce me, I'd look this good and have a mansion and be rich. So I don't think it's like
just don't marry the new guy, so you keep getting your alibi.
I would never do that shit again. Hell no. Once is enough in this lifetime, honey bun.
Do you guys think it's crazy though, watching the Teddi Mellencamp evolution? Because when she first came on Beverly Hills, she was like, oh, I'm just a regular girl. I like to wear like regular clothes and stuff. And we've fast forwarded, and she's a completely different person. She is like leaned into all of Beverly Hills that I felt like she was trying to stay away from when she got on the show.
Well, I feel like there definitely is an evolution of the Housewives, right? The glow up, right? We get the glow up, we get the evolution, we get more. I feel that being on Housewives gives us as individuals, and Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, to almost lean into who we are for real and not be embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like freeing. It's like, you know what? I don't want to have to play the role anymore. I want to just be me. And if me being like entertaining me being this entertaining, if it's not good enough to be on TV, then that's not the place for me. So like maybe Teddi needed being on TV to give her that self-confidence to be like, you know what? It's okay to be myself. And if I want to be messy, I'm going to be messy. Because she wasn't messy in the beginning.
No, she was boring.
She was sweet.
A lot of people
were boring, but she seemed sweet. She was sweet. And then I don't know what happened. She became friends with Tamra.
Jen, what political office are you running for right now? Because she's like, oh, she's sweet. She's not boring. She's...
No. She was sweet. Ace.
Okay.
Past tense. And again, I'm just taking everything I see with a grain of salt because I know what these producers can do to some of these housewives in the edit. From what I saw on the show, she seemed as if she was sweet.
Gotcha.
Now, from what I see on her being on 2Ts, I would say that she's not so sweet. No, a little bit of sourness in there, maybe even salty. Sure. Maybe even salty for whatever reason. But I just like, for me, like relationships are so hard. And I really just wish her all the best and hope that their kids can be really protected from whatever social media backlash or comments can come from it.
That's so beautiful, Jen.
So what is that? Is that, I know you guys like to,
listen,
you like to like throw them to the wolves, but you know what?
It's not throwing them to the wolves. It's like, first of all, there's something really suspicious about this whole thing. Cause just a few days ago, before she made that announcement, they were at the Melanoma Gala packing on the PDA like it was on the menu. He was dipping her, kissing her. Really strange. She's still wearing her diamond ring. You know, whatever. Maybe she just, I don't know. There is something really, really strange going on. I think that when they say that, this is a very common thing. They say that no one likes Teddi Mellencamp. And I think that they really mean not even her husband, because there's something going on there that doesn't jive. I don't know. Maybe he's Latino. You'll recall, Ace, that a while back, for some reason, I had never seen this man, and something about him, I was like, oh, he's cute. There's something about him that's cute. And I never say stuff like that. And maybe he was just letting off this kind of testosterone thing.
Testosterone thing. It's like a pastaroni, but for testosterone,
right,
for sure.
Testosterone.
So I only met her at BravoCon, and she was trying to solicit me into talking to her off record in one of the stalls about the show. And I was just like, yeah, no, girl, that ain't going to work, girl. So that was the only interaction I've ever had with her. So in that moment, I thought, okay, this girl's just like being messy. But she's also doing her job. So, but with her husband, I absolutely know nothing. I know that she used to go on and on about how he was a hot Latino, which, you know, I mean, hello, they are. So, but I have no idea that they were out and they were putting on the public display of affection. But listen, sometimes people just play the role until they really just can't play the role any longer. And I just wish them all the best of luck.
God, well, Jen, you are so evolved, because it's like, you know, Tamara's not said the nicest things about you.
Ace, you thought I was going to be messy.
No, I didn't, but I just, Tamara's.
I'm shady, honey. I'm shady now. Don't get me wrong. If it's sunny, I'll bring on some shade.
Tamara's been kind of a bitch to you on 2Ts in a pod.
What are you talking about, Tamara? Tamara's a different lane, honey. She's in a whole other lane of herself. I mean, I think she's even like beneath Teddi. And you know, Teddi was like you said, everyone thought she was boring. She's better than Tamara. Take her any day over Tamara.
I think that maybe what happened to Teddi, you know, Teddi had her seasons. She was fired. And then they have this incredibly successful podcast. And it is, by all standards, incredibly successful. And I think she thinks, right. I think that happens a lot. That's one of the reasons that a lot of these marriages fall apart. He's the regular old Edwin, and now she's this idea in her own head that she rules the world because she has a successful podcast with someone who's, quite frankly, probably going to be canceled as a human being very soon.
An anchor that will sink your ship, sweetheart. That's
absolutely.
what that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do we find...
So ego, yes, ego does come into play. And that's what I said. Like sometimes you grow together or you grow apart.
Right.
So do we find Teddi Mellencamp guilty of stroking her ego more than her husband?
Yes. Guilty of stroking her ego more than her husband. You need to stroke that man, girl. Those Latinos need a lot of stroking.
I just don't know if that's going to be the reason for their divorce. I feel like there could be some kind of salacious underlining thing that will eventually come out. I know, Ace, you would love that.
Oh, for sure.
I would love it.
Fuck yeah.
In the meantime, I say guilty.
Here's the thing. The way that I watch these shows is so fucked up because it's like they're not real people. So it's like, oh, it's fun. But then, you know, we have you here, Jen, and you're like, I'm a real fucking person. It's my real fucking life. So I get it. And you have a different perspective than all of us.
Because a minute, and like it could happen to any one of us any day. And I never want to sit there and like, you know, I'm a big believer in karma. Yeah. So I would say not guilty. I would say not guilty. It's not her ego. Maybe they just grew apart for other reasons.
Okay. Jen, I'm directing this straight to you because our dishonorable judge, Anna Quincoces, is absolutely biased in this case. But Marisol, Real Housewife or Real Friend of Miami, was at the two twats in a teabag, whatever that convention they had was. And she throws shade at my girl, Dr. Nicole, saying no one misses her. No one even noticed that she wasn't there. And that they're having so much fun without her. And and then thank God Dr. Nicole came back and she said, you know, real friends, not friends of.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Is Marisol being messy, or is she guilty of being messy, or is she just trying to drum up some exposure for the show?
Oh, well, I mean, I think she's being messy. 100% she's being messy. But like, I feel like when it comes to these housewives, I feel like the audience loves it when they're messy.
She's not a housewife. She's a friend of.
Oh, there you go. Right. She's a friend of. Yes, she's a friend of. I like Nicole as a housewife on the show.
I love her
a lot.
She's great.
I love all her pomp and circumstance. I love anything she says when she says Architectural Digest. I'm like, okay. Because it's like when you cast a housewife, that's what you want. You want them to check the boxes. You want them to look good, have the family, but also have the lifestyle, right? Sometimes when they cast these housewives that they don't have the lifestyle, it's like, you know, if I wanted to, you know, watch that, I would just like try to remember my childhood. I don't want to go there again. I'd never want to fucking go back there again. Life's so much better where we are. So, I would say that she's
as her housekeeper walks across.
I know. Adriana, you're in the shot every time you walk across.
I'm trying to look relatable, Adriana.
Please, Adriana.
Adriana, I'm trying to look relatable here. God damn it.
Ace, what do you think? Since you think I am.
I know you're biased.
I want to say I don't know Marisol, so I don't really know anything about her, but I think
Anna
I'm getting that you and her don't
hates
really get along.
Marisol with a burning passion.
I do. For many reasons. We were friends once, and you know sometimes that's what happens, but I've seen what she does. I think, to me, this is a case of the has-been housewife, because she used to be a housewife. She was downgraded to friend. Mm-hmm. And she is green with envy. Okay. And this is somebody, you know, people say that you drink or whatever. Her personality is alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's nothing else about her. So she drinks like a fish, and she has no storyline. She's making $1,000 an episode, which.
What?
Oh, yes, that's the going rate for her dignity.
Oh, my God.
$1,000 an episode. I know this for a fact.
That was my dinner last night.
Yeah.
$1,000 an episode?
Yes, $1,000.
Jen, when you were, when you heard that Vicky was making 7 figures, you were like, what the fuck? Yeah. But
I mean, it's not I don't get no 1,000 an episode, honey. We ain't that primitive here.
Oh, my. I'm like, Wow. That's crazy.
It's not 7 figures. It's what I like to call my petty cash. For all those people are like, I can't wait till you're fired. What are you going to do? I don't know.
That her little jab on social media at Nicole.
Some fish and chips. Yeah.
Very relatable.
No, listen, the little jab of hers at Nicole, if you go to her post, it backfired spectacularly. So so I don't even know. All she did by saying that no one missed Nicole is confirm that everyone misses Nicole and that everybody thinks she's a has-been housewife and that she's jealous and a drunk. And basically there was at least 3,000 comments. Wow. And it was consistently that.
Sometimes when you say things like that, you just got to watch your ego over there, because the fans, especially in the housewives world, are really quick to come at you and correct you.
Yeah. And everybody loved Nicole, and Nicole left, by the way, on her own volition. She chose to step away from Housewives because she was dealing with postpartum anxiety, I think. And there was also some messy stuff production did, bringing her husband's or her fiance's ex-girlfriend on the show, which is not cool. And so she left because they're like I've said before, there is some shit she will not eat. And for that, I have mad respect for her.
I have to say, I met Marisol actually once. It was through we were at a charity event, and she was there, I think, with Alexia, if I remember. She was very nice. She
can be very nice. She can be very
lovely, nice. And I have to say, I got no bad juju from her, but I know the cast dynamic is completely different. Yeah. Don't tell me you want to sit next to Margaret. You can, just don't tell me that.
Jen, what are you bringing to the courtroom today?
Okay, today, I want to talk about something serious.
Oh.
I want to talk about the Menendez brothers and their case being up for being reopened for their sentencing to be changed. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Netflix documentary. I watched the series. I'm watching the documentary now. Just sidebar, their house in Beverly Hills just got sold for $17 million. I don't know who fucking want to live in there, but it has $17 million. So I'm in it. I'm in the rabbit hole of it all. And I remember the case when it first came out, and I just thought two brothers kill their parents like everybody else for money. I had no idea.
Everybody else kills their parents.
No, meaning everybody else thought it was for money. That's what I mean. Yeah, not like everybody else. But now thinking about it as an adult and it resurfacing, first of all, I didn't know that they were being molested and abused, and they were being molested and abused from a very, very young age. It's also been out that the father molested another little boy from Menudo, and all this evidence. And it's life without parole. And you just got to think about it, because I'm a mother, right? But I'm also a kid. And it's you think about, okay, let's kill our parents. What had to have happened to make both kids? I mean, just not just one kid. You got one kid that wants to kill the parents. Maybe he goes to his sibling, says, you want to kill him? Let's kill him. The sibling goes, I don't know. I kind of like mommy and daddy. I don't know. It's kind of like a thing. So, but to have both kids want to kill their parents, you got to think about what happened that they came to this. And I just feel that their case should be reopened. Life without parole, I think, was excessive. I think they wanted to be made an example of. It was right after the OJ case where a lot of people were, up in arms about the verdict on that. And they needed a conviction. 35 years. I'm always the type that likes to put myself in that situation. And Ace, you were fucking molested, God forbid, by your father for 10, 15 years. Then you kill the fucker, but then you go to jail for 35 years. You think, okay, for the first half of my life, I was raped by my father. My mother didn't give a fuck. And the second half of my life, I'm going to die in jail. I feel like it's so unfair. I feel like this case needs to be reopened stat. I believe we are a product of our environment, and those little boys were living in hell. And they should be released, and they should also have a court-appointed psychologist to mandate and follow their mental health, because, being in jail for 35 years for, yes, killing your parents, but ultimately for punishing people who raped you all your life. a mind fuck.
It's
a mind fuck.
crazy because I feel like had the Menendez brothers case happened later in life, more like in today's time, it would be treated completely different. Because we look at Gypsy Rose, and while she wasn't the one who actually killed her mom, like she basically was there when it happened and planned the entire thing and stuff. And it's like, we're all like, oh, we love Gypsy Rose. Now she's got her own reality show. It is so sad. I think there's two parts to this that bother me. One, I hate that we keep putting them together because, you know, Lyle's the one who left, reloaded the gun, came back in. Eric was like in there and then like more heat of the moment. And so I wish that they would separate the two of them and say like, listen, because I honestly, I feel like Eric he's a victim of his dad, but I also feel like was so influenced by Lyle that I wish that he could have been released even earlier. I think they both deserve to be out now. And I fully believe that they were sexually assaulted. I didn't love the series because
I didn't love the series either.
It made you question a lot of things. What I did like, though, was Cooper Cooch, who played Eric. Holy, he is hung like a fucking horse. And that shower scene in jail, I was like, wow. And that wasn't a prosthetic. Yeah. So I did appreciate that moment in the series.
Yeah, well, Jeff Lewis was talking about that was hot.
You could watch the documentary and it really does paint a fuller picture. And
yeah, it does.
Your point to Lyle, like Lyle also abused Eric. When his abuse was happening to him, he abused Eric. And obviously he's the older brother. I feel like there was part of him somewhere in his like mindset that he was also protecting his brother. Like they were doing this for each other.
Yeah.
I don't like it that they didn't get to spend the rest of their lives, whatever it was. I don't like how they separated them. Like that scene when they were leaving at the end.
Oh my God. Oh.
I could not stop crying. And I was just like, God, like why? I always believe like, you know, God handles our battles. Like, why is this happening to these two boys? It's just so unfortunate, the whole thing.
It is.
And like, just again, I don't think the punishment, I think it was like no option for manslaughter. It was either first degree murder or acquit. Those were the only two options.
The trial, the whole trial, as somebody.
It was not fair.
Right. As somebody that, you know, as a lawyer, and I practiced law for 23 years and I was a prosecutor at one point, I got to tell you, first of all, they should have never used the same judge. The judge was completely, there was so much appealable error in the second trial that I was shocked watching just even some of the real footage. And I think that I don't think that they should be put through another trial. I think it should be a time-served situation. Okay.
Agreed.
And I also think that, you know, listen, they have already spent decades behind bars. Let's talk a little bit about, they've lost the best years of their lives, you know, when they were really hot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then I think, honestly, time served and a generous trust fund to, you know, kind of shop their little hearts out, you know, to have a real life. I think they've done a lot of work on themselves. I will tell you, as far as your saying about Eric's position was different. And I agree with Ace on this, which is weird, because when they asked him, did you like it when your dad did that stuff to you? He actually said he liked it. And when they asked him why, it wasn't the sexual act, but it was the only time his father was nice to him.
Oh,
because
God.
Remember, Lyle was the one that he wanted to be just like the dad. And so I think these boys it's been a 50-year sentence because all the years they were molested, that was worse than a prison sentence. And I don't blame them for wanting them dead and reloading the gun to make sure that this shit doesn't happen to me anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know?
And so that whole aspect of Eric saying that he liked it because it was one-on-one time with his father, who he did idolize. I get that. And that is actually a form of abuse.
Of course.
It's a form of like manipulation and abuse. And he was saying how, you know, he always felt like his father didn't like him, especially in front of people, always like the older brother, not him. And in these private, quiet times, I mean, my kids who love me, and I love what they love when they get private time with me, when I go into their room and it's just me and them and talking about our day. Like they look forward to that. And for me to take that time and use that in a way to hurt my child, that is also a form of abuse. So I just feel so sorry for them as a whole. I think I agree with you, Anna. They should be no more time served for them. They have paid their dues, 35 years in prison after being raped for 10 years. Like, come on, give these guys a break.
Enough. Yep.
Enough.
I would
Ace,
also.
I know you have a heart in there.
I know. I fully agree with you.
Yes,
100%. They need to be out. I wish, I will say, I do want to give an extra fuck you, though, to Kitty, because I think that woman knew everything that was going on and did nothing to stop it. I think she's a terrible mother.
Yes.
But I am also hoping that Netflix, if they do get out, we kind of get like a docuseries after following their lives. Also, one more thing, Jen, follow-up question on all of this. Both of the brothers are married while in prison. Could you ever, let's say things don't work out with you and Bill, and you're on the prowl. No. You're not going to go to inmatedating.com.
Never. No, I don't understand how that happens. But
it's wild.
I want to say I don't get it, but I respect it. And I am happy for it. Why, I will tell you, it's one less lonely individual in this world. And if they could find a companion, even being in jail with a life sentence, then kudos to you, mofo. Kudos.
And by the way, these women,
conjugal visits, it ain't over until the fat lady sings.
They don't get conjugal visits, so they've never consummated the marriages.
They don't get that?
No.
When they get married?
No. And the funny thing is that these women, they don't have like a arm growing out of their third arm growing out of their head. They're attractive women.
More
smart,
power to you.
Women.
Love it. If two people could find each other and become one and stay on this life with a companion, then I'm all for it.
And what's good is that she can make sure that they're not cheating.
100%. That's also very good. Yeah. And then she could do whatever she wants. Hey!
No. As Justin Bieber would say, one less lonely girl. Jen Aydin, I want to put you on the stand for a minute. We're going to play a little game, Plead the Fifth. I've got 5 questions for you. You can only plead the fifth on one, and you don't know what the next question is until you answer the first. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
First one. What does Bill think about Rachel's nose?
I've never asked him. And I will say that if I did ask him, he doesn't criticize any other doctor's work ever. I don't know if it's a code of ethics amongst doctors, but even when I show him the most botched jobs, he always tells me, well, maybe it didn't heal properly. And, you never know. It's never textbook. It's never textbook. So I've never asked him.
Okay.
I think it's not good. I think it's not good. I think mine turned out way better than hers.
You did not take the code of ethics, and that's great.
But I will say that I could say that. Having experienced a bad nose job and everybody coming at me telling me how bad my nose was, I could say that I think hers was worse.
I like that.
Mine's bad. Mine was bad, but it actually settled in quite nicely, and I'm actually quite happy with that.
I think your nose looks amazing.
Yeah, I just don't want to look like a Coraline character.
No, that's
like a Who from Whoville.
Yeah,
from a creepy Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
Next question: is Louis a little bitch boy for saying he wants Margaret Joseph's son to suffer?
Oh, so he shouldn't have said that. He apologized for saying that.
Never. Wait, okay, hang on. One second. Yes, you should have apologized.
So, with the exception of that.
Okay.
In reality TV, these producers are just waiting for a moment that we stick our foot in our mouths. And after a 2-hour scene, because Anna, those scenes are 2 hours. They're condensed into 5 minutes, and they take everything we say and put it in.
And they decided he was a villain, like when they decided you're a villain,
that he was a villain.
It sucks.
Yes. So I will say that there was a reason why he said that. He should not have displayed it the way that he did, and he has come out and apologized for his words. So he doesn't want to hurt Margaret's son ever. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He was just saying, look what they've put us through. I wish that they would just go through something that they could feel what it feels like when someone does this to you. That's all that was.
Next one. What did you really think about the devotionals that Louis made the guys record?
Horrible.
Terrible. Horrible. That was so uncomfortable to watch.
Did you see Bill?
Bill's face. Oh my God.
Hi, Jenny.
Oh, those were tough to watch. And I mean, it wasn't even me.
Like cringe, because Bill's not like that. Like Bill's a scientist. He's a math guy. It's different. He's not going to go out there and talk about like, you know, professing his everlasting love to me. He doesn't know how to do that. Like, I commend Louis for being in touch with his feelings. I mean, Louis was great. Louis, I'd fucking put in a book and sell it as poetry.
Well, but really. Louis was probably rehearsed. You know what I mean? Because he knew it was going to happen.
It probably
made everyone else perform under the gun.
It's like Louis talks like that all the time. Like we'll be together and he'll like hold Teresa's hand and he'll just be like when she does something that's so beautifully mothering and nurturing even to his family and his parents that now she has made her own, he'll always be like, you're so wonderful. You're so fun. And he talks like that. He talks like he's freaking spitting sonnets. Okay. Yeah. And like those romantic cards, I always tell them you're in the newlywed phase. Yeah, wait till you're married a long time. That goes away.
Yeah. I honestly like at some point I was accused of drinking the Louis Kool-Aid, but when he was on the podcast with Teresa recently, I kind of really changed my mind about him. I thought he seems
Anna,
he just speaks like that. I felt he was genuine.
He looks you in the eye, Ace. He shakes your hand, offers you a drink. Would you like anything? You make sure, like, if you're cold, he'll find you a jacket. That's how Louis is. He is the nicest guy. The things that are out about him publicly are all put out there by his ex, not even ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend. Now you tell me, is that really a reputable source?
No.
An ex? How do your exes talk about you? I mean,
he doesn't have an ex. He's never had a drink. He's only been with one woman, and he lives in Peoria, Arizona.
Stop! God, really painting me in a beautiful light.
This is the truth. It's adorable.
Ace, there's nobody like you, Ace.
Oh, thank you.
Remember that.
Honestly,
you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, you are one of a kind, Ace. It's not a coincidence that that's your name.
Listen, I found
Ace top of the food chain is the
Ace has a very popular podcast on Sister Wives, which I became obsessed with.
Sister Wives with a whole bunch of dry women.
Yeah, to say the least.
And the other day I was listening and I hear an ad, right? He doesn't normally have ads. And I go, oh, cool. He finally has an ad. Like a normal person, he has, 50 million downloads per episode. Why not? And then I find out that he made $8,000 and donated it all to hurricane victims. That's Ace. You see what I'm saying? So there is nobody like Ace when I mean it. This is the last nice thing I'm going to say about him.
Thank you.
So enjoy it.
You need to know that.
Back to Jen. I mean,
yes. So Louis, yes. No, it was wrong.
He's not a bitch boy all the time, but maybe in that one instance was a bitch boy.
Listen, we've all had a couple of slip-ups where we may have said something that we later on regret.
Jen, I am a bitch boy 24/7. Like, I'll own it. You know, it's like, it's all right.
Take notes from Anna.
Okay. This next one. This is the biggest thing I struggled with this season. Teresa and Jackie Goldschneider. Mm-hmm. Was it okay for Teresa to just automatically glaze over the fact that Jackie had done this stuff? Or was Teresa just looking for a reason to be mad?
I think in the moment she didn't care about what Jackie had done because her and Jackie were never friends.
Yeah.
Jackie and Teresa became friends when Jackie was cast on this show. And I use that term friends very loosely. Margaret, when Margaret first joined the show, she did a beautiful memorial wreath in honor of Teresa's mom. Teresa thought that she had a friendship with Margaret. So she didn't care as much about Jackie. She's like, I was never really friends with Jackie.
Yeah.
And I did something to Jackie where Jackie wanted to do something back. And Teresa gets that. And yes, in the heat of the moment, I do think she was so angry at Margaret that she didn't even want to hear anything else. Mm-hmm. But Teresa was saying, like, why should I be mad with Jackie? Plus, Jackie owned it. Jackie owned it. Like, Margaret Margaret still hasn't owned it. Margaret's still trying to deflect and say it's all Jackie, when really, like, it was all you, Margaret, okay? It was all you. You're the sneaky link over
Jackie owned it when she was caught.
I will say.
Agree. Yeah,
yes.
I do agree that she holds Jackie to a different standard because she did do something to Jackie and they weren't as good friends. And also, it pales by comparison to what Margaret did. So she just wasn't going to focus on it. She wasn't going to be, I'm going to have a problem with everybody. It's like her focus was Margaret and what Margaret did.
Remember the first season that Louis was on, remember that season when Margaret aired my husband's infidelity, she also was the one who brought the Warrior video to the table. Now, I get it. It's our job. If something's out on social media and we're filming, we need to talk about it. And Teresa's approach, she acknowledges that. What Teresa's gripe is that when she was telling Margaret, she was like, I don't care. Everybody has a past. Let it go. And I think Margaret just doubled down on it all season. You know what I say? Let's make fun of our outfits, our parties, and our freaking houses that are falling apart. That's petty, and people could get past that. But when you dig and you go underneath.
And there are real repercussions.
And there are real repercussions, because this is the thing. You do that to a housewife, they're going to do it to you. I did it. It was done to me. And then what did I do? I spoke to Margaret's ex-best friend, Laura. I would never have spoken to Margaret's ex-best friend, Laura, if Margaret didn't do what she did to me. I wouldn't have. Because I would have been like, okay, you know what? Her house is fucking dirty and it's falling apart. I'll talk about that.
You're a better person than me. If I was a housewife, I would have done all of it. Okay, last question. Well, I will say this. One of my favorite moments, though, of last season was watching Jackie Goldschneider sit there and be like, you're a fucking liar. It was you. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, I did say it. I'm like, oh.
Oh my God. Like, I had no words.
And you killed me because you were like, Teresa, are you? And you're like, she's not processing it yet. She's not processing it.
Because nobody speaks Teresa like Jen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jen can be really like decipher all of it.
Yeah. And again, I tell you, in that moment, like, just Margaret was really public enemy number one. I mean, you had to see Teresa when she came into that room, and I don't know if it aired, but she walked in. She's always the last one to walk in, whatever. She's the last one. She was like, we all had to sit across from our perpetrator. I will call them the perpetrators because we were the victims. Yes, me and Teresa were victims. And I had to sit next to ugly shitbox Danielle. And then she had to sit next to Margaret. And she was like, I'm not sitting across from her. And I was like, dude, if I got to sit next to this fugly thing, then you got to sit next to her. Okay? But, you know, it's the Teresa show. So she did not want any of that. So everybody had to move like musical chairs in order for Teresa not to be facing Margaret. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Last one. Are you ready?
I still haven't pleaded the fifth.
No, she's so proud of you. And I say, you know what?
I'm a talker, Ace.
Why stop now? Let's just keep going. What is one secret about another cast member that never made it onto the show?
I would have to think about that. I don't know.
Think Fuda, think Danielle.
I will say that it was not on the show. I think Margaret spoke about her ex-husband Jan's funeral, and word on the street was she wasn't allowed to go to his funeral.
She wasn't?
She was not allowed to go to her ex-husband's
She cheated
funeral.
on him.
Oh shit! I thought they became like friendly though. I
know, but
the word on the street was she was not welcome at his funeral. But I did hear she did something on her own, like a memorial with like people in her circle to try to honor his death. But she was not.
Do the wreath again.
Maybe she did the wreath again. Worked for her the first time.
Well, guys, Jen did not plead the fifth once. That I appreciate. I'd like to end with one last story. Now, this is about the OG of the OC. She's also we would say a fellow colleague of ours at Hurrdat Media. Vicki Gunvalson recently was on a series called The Dark Side of Reality TV. And she went on to say that she will never forgive Bravo for filming and airing and withholding for an hour that her mother had died until they got it on camera. is Vicky guilty of just speaking her truth, or is she burning her final bridge here with Bravo? Is this biting the hand that feeds you?
So I feel like it could be a little bit of both. I don't know why someone would want to go out there and burn their bridge with Bravo. I feel like it's always nice to, like, keep the lines of communication open just in case. So I definitely think she's taking a stance when she says that, right? There's definitely going to be repercussions, and she may not care. She may be just so over being exploited and used and, being put out there, like fired. And then, like, that's kind of embarrassing. And then what happened when her and Tamara were fired? Like, ratings went down, and then they asked Tamara back and not Vicky. Hello, epic fail. Hello. I think maybe the ratings were good a little bit when Tamara came back the first season, and then her second season, I just think that her ego got the best of her, and she thought being messy would get her clicks, and I feel like it just backfired.
We like a little messy. We don't like destroy your whole life messy.
It's a very fine line. I don't make the line. I don't choose the line. You never know which side of the line people are going to fall down. We don't. But I feel like good for her that she is saying her truth if that's how she really feels. But also she should understand that this could very well may burn the bridge. And if she doesn't care because that ship has sailed, then all good. All good. But yes, be in your truth, but you could have burned a little bridge over there. Bravo doesn't like people who go against them publicly. Like, it just doesn't end well. I feel like Brandi Glanville is a very good example of that.
Yeah. That's still...
I feel bad because some of these housewives need this income. Vicky doesn't. She is a successful insurance agent, I think. So I don't think she needs a show. But for some of the girls who do, and whatever has happened that burn their bridge and then they can't get work, like, I feel bad for them. They're mothers. They're mothers out there that need to put food on the table. And I don't know if you can go back to working at Neiman's after being on this platform.
I feel like with Vicky, it's not about money, but like, this has truly been her identity for so long. Like, she is like, you don't think I never think of Vicky Gunvalson, and the first place I go is Kodo Insurance. I always think Vicky Gunvalson, Real Housewives of Orange County. Like, this has been her identity. I can't imagine having to just go on with my life and be like, okay, I guess I'm going to just move on. And I will say, if Bravo's listening, I've never said one bad thing about Bravo in my life.
Well, neither have I. Yes,
let me say, I don't think I've said anything bad about Bravo. I have said things about the production.
Yeah, and there are two different lanes of production the show I was Bravo on. Are not the same people.
That's another thing.
Bravo hires the production team to execute a show, and we, the housewives, have direct contact with the production company. So sometimes we're not so happy with the producers. But they know that. Any producer that us housewives have an issue with, we've probably told them sidebar directly at one point in time or another.
I don't think that Andy, I think it's a little bit below his pay grade to be watching dailies every day.
We're talking producers, we're not talking Andy. Okay, Andy needs EP. He's up there. I don't even have, people think I talk to Andy on a regular basis. Dude, I don't even have his number. No. Okay. Well, yeah.
I honestly, in this case, I find production guilty of committing the ultimate reality TV sin, taking something, exploiting real life grief for cheap thrill.
They do that, yes.
And I really think that blindsiding Vicky was horrific. This is her mother. Do you know what I mean? There has to be a line, like we're talking, and this was her mother. And by the way, Vicky's a pro. Vicky would have given you the crying, wailing, whatever that you wanted even after, but give her private moment, because you know what? Losing your mother, it's not a 5-second situation where you're going to cry about it. So there was going to be time. So I think it was just, this wasn't storytelling. This was manipulation and exploitation. And it went too far.
You're right. So you know what? Technically, it shouldn't burn a bridge.
It shouldn't.
Bravo. It really shouldn't.
I honestly think that even Andy would think, that was a little too far.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Those are my kids.
And I also think that after the season Vicky had, I think Vicky doesn't care about burning a bridge, because here's the thing. Vicky hasn't been on TV for a little while. And one thing that happens, and it happened to me this past season after not being on for years and years and years, coming on, and they decided to, just edit everything the way they wanted to. They do not believe that you have changed or in any way evolved as a person in freaking 10 years.
You're so right.
So they did not take that into consideration. So they're mocking the fact that she wanted a certain level of peace. She wanted people to get along, not to say bad things. Oh, but you're the one that used to do this. You're the one that used to say that. I called Leah Blackson more than 10 years ago socially awkward. I mean, who does that in today's day? First of all, I've apologized to him, to her. We are good friends now. But you know better, you do better. I always say that. Right, absolutely. You learn and then you evolve. And so the fact that they didn't even consider her possible evolution as a human being, as a woman. No, you're right. I don't think she gives a shit anymore. No, you're right. And you know what? I don't think this should burn a bridge. Like this should not. She lost her mother. Hello. She lost her mother. Yeah. She has the right to talk about how she felt when she lost her mother. This was emotional manipulation.
Do we think that?
What's the question?
Do we think that? Do we think that production asked Vicky, "Are you okay with airing this?" after the fact?
No.
Yes.
You think they did?
I feel like they did, and here's why I think she could have said yes. One, I actually feel like it was a really great moment on Housewives because it's not something we've ever seen before, and it was something so many people can relate to in that moment. But I also feel like, Vicky was coming off a really bad time. Everything that happened with Brooks, all of that stuff. It was kind of a moment of like, oh, fuck, we can't come to Vicky,
Passion.
I honestly have never seen production ask anybody permission for anything. If you take a look at our contracts, they are draconian. They can say anything they want. They can have a moment where you're making a face about something and combine it with another scene that is completely unrelated just to make you look bad. This is a fact. And I can tell you that this last time I was on, they forgot to get me to sign the release. And they had all this great footage. And I'm like, guess what? Not signing the release. And they begged me and they begged me and they called me and they kissed my ass and they made me promises and everything else. And I went there to tell my truth, to kind of apologize about some of the things I wasn't proud of, not my finest moments, and to also address some other stuff. They turned it completely around, made me look like a deaf mute, like Anna, the shrinking violet that doesn't talk, who's afraid to talk. Like, who's going to believe that?
Right. And they did that to me this season.
They're assholes, Yeah. And so I don't think they asked her. I would like to think
it's a death. I would like to think that someone's pulling on these heartstrings, and because I've never experienced a death on camera. I think Vicky's mother's was maybe the first and only time. So I would think that people are innately good, but you know what? Anna's got a point. They don't ask for permission.
It's about ratings. They don't ask
permission. I told my sister that season that I was filming that year, that was really hard for me. I was crying a lot, like off camera, on camera. I'm thinking, how am I going to break it to my kids? Like, Olivia found it on a TikTok. It was while we were filming, and the TikTok said about something. There was a picture of me and said something like, oh, like he cheated on her, whatever. And Olivia commented under it. She said, these are my parents and this is not true.
She's so sweet. She's such a sensitive.
When I was putting her to sleep that night, she was like, Mommy, I saw a TikTok tonight about Baba cheating on you. And don't worry, I defended you. And I wrote and I said, I didn't know what to do. I said, sweetie, can you just delete it? Because, we're filming and all these rumors get leaked when we're filming, but it's actually good for the show. So just ignore it. And then before the show aired and I had a talk with her, and all of a sudden she had a light bulb go on and she looked at me. She goes, so that TikTok was true? And I had to look at her and say, like, that was true. And my sister, my family, they're like, go to production, tell them don't air this. Ask them. I said, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, Jackie tried to get the rumor out. Jackie refused to film. When we went to Lake George that year, when Teresa brought the rumor about Jackie, The reason Jackie wasn't in Lake George is because she was refusing to film. Oh, that's maybe something you guys didn't know.
No, I like that. I like hearing that.
Yeah, she was actually threatening to quit. And she was like, you're going to take that out. And I'm not filming until you do. But what Jackie didn't realize is that production just laughs at you when you try to like call the shots.
Because you already signed your life away on that contract.
Okay, bye. That's what they say. That's what they say to you when you don't want to film. So there is that. Anna is right about that. I would like to think that when it comes to a death of a parent, that people would find compassion. I know with Teresa, obviously Teresa gave permission for them to film her mother's funeral. Yeah. And, you know, her father died during COVID, but I know Teresa would have been okay with showcasing her life because she showcased everything else. Right. So I don't know.
And I think Vicky's a pro, and Vicky would have shown them something, but give her a minute.
Yeah, totally. Give her a minute. Give her a minute. She's earned her minute.
And her daughter deserved to be able to speak to her mother immediately about losing her grandmother without an audience.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Speaking of daughters, before we go, Jen, I need you to relay a message for me. That is that I am the head of the Gabby fan club. I feel like this girl, talk about fucking emotional intelligence. Talk about like being wise beyond her years. And when we had to go through her being bullied at school, I about lost it. I think she is the greatest, one of the only children I've ever liked on Real Housewives. I like love her. She's the best.
Your kids are all wonderful.
Really good compliment from you, Ace.
She's the best.
And he means that, and he's a new dad, and so
yes, congratulations!
Thank you.
You have a beautiful family. And sidebar, I've been watching some of the episodes, and I know how you were always saying like you care about the comments and you're all in it and you care what people think of you, dude. Nobody's opinion should ever supersede your own.
Look
in the mirror, okay? You got a beautiful wife, a beautiful family. You're putting food on the table. And what part of Phoenix, Arizona are you from? What part?
Peoria.
Peoria?
Okay.
She's like, okay, wait, hang on. That's hard to defend.
You continue on your journey and you put Peoria.
Mm-hmm.
You put that Peoria on the map.
Will do. Hell yeah. Real Housewives of Peoria, here we come.
Yeah, it's just like Taylor Swift put Reading, Pennsylvania on the map. Mm-hmm. You could put Peoria, Arizona on the map. Okay.
I love
talking negatively about yourself. Okay? Your words have power. You're a cutie patootie. Podcasts are successful. So don't ever downplay your accomplishments. Okay.
Jen?
Otherwise, you're going to call me up and I'm going to have to give you a little secret uplift.
Thank you.
And you have Anna Quincoces.
To remind him, I think I'm his mom.
You know what I'm going to call you? Conquistador. Because you are a conqueror, my love. You are Anna Conquistador.
Conquistador.
Jen, this has been amazing having you here.
So fun. You're really, what a treat. You're amazing.
Thank you, guys.
And it's nice getting to see you.
Anna, I love your cooking videos. I know you were doing that. I don't know if you're still doing that.
Yeah.
But, definitely live in your truth. Okay. Like love yourself. I encourage everybody out there to have self-love. And trust me, the rest will fall like a domino effect. And if it doesn't, it's their loss.
Yep.
Jen is our next Oprah, guys. She's coming.
I'm the next Oprah.
You need to sign with Hurrdat with your own
oh my God,
advice.
I am, Anna.
Are you? Okay.
I am. Oh my God, you're like psychic. Hello.
No, you should, because first of all, they're amazing. We love them.
I got the gift of gab. I really just want to uplift people and see like there's always a bigger side, a better side. Like see the glass half full, not half empty, and watch how everything changes.
Yes. Well, I think you're going to be very successful because you're very good at this.
And while you're doing that and you are inspiring others and you are just doing the most beautiful human work possible, Anna and I will be here in the dumpster just shitting on everybody.
Stop it. Stop that right now.
No, we own that we talk shit and that's okay. We like it.
No, I know, but we could talk shit and make it positive.
Okay,
like,
I like that.
Not really.
Yeah, you're like sitting on your throne. I mean, maybe it's a toilet, but it's a throne all the same, honey bun.
Honestly, sometimes speaking the truth sounds like talking shit to other people, but what we do is say the truth from our perspective, and
Listen,
okay
I know
too.
you guys sometimes are trying to be funny and like shock value and everything, but like I just want you to love yourself, Ace. Fuck the comments. You know what they're talking about you? They're talking about you, honey, not the other way around.
That's right. I will say, guys.
They mocked his laugh. He's got the best laugh in the world.
That's because they're jelly. They're jelly that their laugh falls flat.
I can't believe this is turning into a like Ace fanning, let me build you up conference. Good God.
An Ace fan, zing. It's even in your name. You're like literally like the top of the card chain.
Okay.
Listen, even in the show,
your last name, so people have to be fans of Ace. Hence Ace fanning.
I'm so embarrassed right now, but thank you, Jen. You have been lovely.
Listen, someone's got to do it because I always hear every episode you uplifting Anna.
Yeah.
Uplifting Anna, what a rock star she is.
That's right. She is.
Conquistador.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode of Reality Court, go and leave us a 5-star review. Nothing else. You know, we just want to be told that we're great. As Jen says, like, and honestly, if you do have something bad about us to say, it doesn't fucking matter because Jen likes us and that's all that matters.
Yes, that's right.
God, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Hurrdat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the state of New Jersey, for bringing us Jen Aydin.
Yes, and thank you to both of you who constantly live in your truth and be yourselves no matter what the fuck the comments say.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court is adjourned.
Woo!
I knew it. Another Hurrdat Media Production.